We're here because free speech is under attack. We're here because people are being convinced that socialism works. We're here because people are being judged guilty until proven innocent. We are fighting back with facts. This is not a safe zone, so buckle up, Buttercup. This is the raw, naked truth.
Responses to Biden's threat to Israel, Columbia students out of luck in the job market, and more. Welcome to the Raw Naked Truth. I'm your host, Eric Lopkin, and here's the news you need to know. The White House is scrambling after President Biden claimed on Wednesday that inflation was at 9% when he entered the White House in January 2021, when in fact the Consumer Price Index was at 1.4% at the time. No president has had the run we've had in terms of creating jobs and bringing down inflation, Biden told CNN's Erin Burnett in an interview. It was 9% when I came to office. 9%. It's a notion Biden has alluded to before. In April, the president said, "Look, we have dramatically reduced inflation from 9% down to close to 3%. We're in a situation where we're better situated than we were when we took office, where inflation was skyrocketing." The White House is now attempting to walk back his claims. Inflation did not hit 9% until Biden was in office for approximately 18 months. Overall, inflation has risen 18% since Biden took office, and grocery prices have risen 30% in the same period, the fastest rise of inflation since the 1970s. Responses roll in to Biden's threat to withhold weapons from Israel. Speaker of the House Mike Johnson said President Biden's recent threat to withhold munitions shipments was completely unexpected and probably off script. Biden said in that same CNN interview that his administration will halt munitions shipments to Israel if the nation continues with plans to invade the city of Rafah. My reaction honestly was, "Wow, that is a complete turn from what I have been told even in recent hours," Johnson told Politico in a Wednesday night interview. Johnson said he was already troubled by reports that U.S. support to Israel could be delayed before the Biden interview. He told Politico that the Biden administration dismissed his concerns and said delays were occurring with prior shipments of weapons, not aid recently passed by the House. Meanwhile, the House of Representatives is preparing impeachment articles against President Biden over the threat, Representative Corey Mills told Fox News Digital on Thursday. Mills accused Biden of forcing Israel into a quid pro quo situation by leveraging U.S. dollars against the Israeli government's actions in Gaza, drawing parallels to Democrats' first impeachment of former President Trump over his handling of Ukraine aid. The House has no choice but to impeach President Quid Pro Joe Biden. As Vice President, Biden was caught threatening to withhold funding and aid to Ukraine unless they fired the Attorney General investigating Burisma, a company financially benefiting his son Hunter, not to mention the 10% share for the big guy himself, Mills said in a statement. Now Joe Biden is pressuring Israel, our biggest ally in the Middle East, by pausing their funding that has already been approved in the House if they don't stop all operations with Hamas. It's a very clear message, this for that. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu released a video message on Thursday vowing that Israel will stand alone to defeat Hamas if necessary after President Biden's threat. Netanyahu echoed the 1948 Israeli War of Independence in his remarks, saying that despite a weapons embargo on Israel, Israelis had fought and defeated the Arab nations who attacked the nascent Jewish state, thanks to their bravery and unity. Today we are much stronger, the Prime Minister said. We are determined and we are united in order to defeat our enemies and those who want to destroy us. If we need to stand alone, we will stand alone, Netanyahu continued. 13 federal judges said Monday in a letter to Columbia University President Manoush Shafik that they won't hire law clerks from the institution over its handling of the pro-Hamas protests that the judges said threatened violence, committed assaults, and destroyed property. The judges said they lost confidence in Colombia since it became an incubator of bigotry, noting that the late Justice William Brennan refused to hire Harvard Law School graduates as law clerks due to the faculty's criticism of the Supreme Court. The objective of our boycott is different. It is not to hamper academic freedom, but to restore it at Columbia University, they wrote. The letter suggests that Columbia engages in viewpoint discrimination, saying the school would not have tolerated conservative pro-life demonstrators in the same manner as it tolerated pro-Hamas protesters. Initial jobless benefit claims rose by 22,000 to 231,000 in the week ended May 4th, according to the U.S. Labor Department. That's the highest level since last August. Economists polled by the Wall Street Journal had estimated new claims would rise to 214,000. Last week, claims rose at a revised 1,000 to 209,000. That compared with the initial estimates of an unchanged reading. The rise in claims fits with other data showing that the labor market is softening. Federal Reserve Chair Jerome Powell said last week that the cooling of the labor market was evidence that the central bank's policy rate is pushing down economic growth and will help get inflation back to 2%. The United States Court of Appeals for the Third Circuit refused to throw out Hunter Biden's indictment on federal gun charges in a court document released Thursday. The president's son is set to stand trial next month in Delaware. The defendant in this criminal case appealed 3 pretrial orders entered on April 12, 2024, denying his motions to dismiss the indictment. The court document stated, "This appeal is dismissed because the defendant has not shown the district court's orders are appealable before final judgment." That's the raw naked truth. You can catch every episode of The Raw Naked Truth at xvadio.com, the Apple Podcasts app, Google Podcasts, Spotify, iHeartRadio, Audible, Amazon Music, and other platforms that respect freedom of speech. We'll see you next time.